What is going on, man? Welcome back, everybody. Sorry, I've got a little coffee in my throat. But welcome back to the Mikerock Show. So, I decided that if we were going to go through all of these changes and we were going to put all of this time and these financial resources into growing the podcast, I wanted to go back to its roots and I wanted it to be about not necessarily me, but the things that I found important. And we'll talk a little bit more about something in the near future. But one of the things that I've realized, and I think it's been holding me and the success of anything that I've done online back, is that I just haven't been able to just be me. One thing or another has kept me from simply being me, from saying the things that I really want to say. And, whether it's some kind of political agenda or hurting someone's feelings or whatever the case may be, I think it's that resistance, that self resistance that has kept me from simply being able to tell the right jokes, to have the same personality online that I share with people in person, the personality that doesn't really seek to offend, but can offend at times. But when people know that my intentions are not to offend, then they're able to understand the conversation a little bit better. They're willing to take it, be a little bit more lighthearted towards some of the things that I say, because at the end of the day, I tell fat jokes. I tell jokes that some people might consider racist, or I just tell jokes, or I'll say something that's just out of pocket sometimes, and the intention is not to hurt. The intention is either to make someone laugh, or to actually make a point. And I haven't really been able to do that in the past, simply because I have not allowed myself to just be me. So we're going to get back into we're getting rid of Mike Rock Uncensored. We're bringing back the Mike Rock Show, and the only thing that we're going to have, the only things that we're going to support, are the things that allow us to be who we are and to bring us together as a community. That's it. Really simple. That's the clarity that I've been able to gather since I've been gone and away from you guys for the past month and a half. And I'm looking forward to getting back to the grassroots of why I wanted to start all of this in the first place. It was not to be political, but we got political. It wasn't to do anything else but to share my opinions on what's going on in life, to encourage other people to share their opinions about what's going on in life. And then hopefully we can start to work together and share those opinions together so that we can make real change with the people who matter, not the politicians, not the celebrities, not all of these people, not the media, all of these people and these influencers who are whispering in our ears, trying to dictate which direction we go in, who to hate, whose relationships we lose in the process. We're not here to do any of that. I'm here to just speak my mind, to say, and if you don't like it, then guess what? You could go somewhere else. I don't care. But anyways, man, I've said a lot of this before, but I've never really done it from the perspective of I don't give a shit. And I'm back to a page to where I really don't give a shit. And I do. Actually, let me change that. I give a shit about what happens to this community. I give a shit about what happens to you personally, as far as when it comes to the serious things and situations that you're dealing with. I give a shit. But when it comes to your emotions and you trying to put me in check, or you trying to make me compromise how I feel, more often than not, I'm not perfect, but more often than not, my instincts have been right on point. The relationships I have with people are real because I keep it real with them, and eventually the lasting relationships, they keep it real with me. That it's been like that for a very long time. We are a community that just simply keeps it 100, and that's how I wanna grow from here moving forward, man. But with that said, man, I've completely missed you guys. I did tell you guys that there was a chance that I wasn't gonna be able to, get on these live streams, or I wasn't gonna be able to, create videos, or just congregate with you guys and have a little bit of fun playing video games or whatever it is that you guys have, been able to experience with me. Um we weren't going to be able to do that for about 8 weeks. And that's about how long it took. I did try to jump in there every now and then. We weren't able to do that the way that I would have liked. So I just completely not bailed on you guys, but bailed on the situation until I could get everything else handled and in check and get myself on a page to where I knew exactly, not exactly, but because I still have some decisions I need to make when it comes to the direction of this community. But I also have a lot of clarity, and being on the road and driving for thousands of miles, not a day, but thousands of miles a week will give you the time you need to reach clarity, to make better decisions. And I've been able to do that, and I know exactly where we're going to go. So first main change is Mike Rock Uncensored is going within the next couple of weeks. I'm going to give myself a little bit of time, but we are going to go back to the Mike Rock Show. I don't want to give away the URLs in case that I'm going to be using in case somebody gets the bright idea to get out there and try to steal them. But I will make the announcements once everything is done. The other thing the other thing that's not necessarily a change, but something we're going to enforce is a lot of our engagement, a lot of just about everything that we're going to be doing is going to come from the righteous community over at righteous.com. You can spell it, you can see how it's spelled right here in the show itself. But I don't want to go. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is I don't want to go to all of these different places, to have conversations, to answer questions. If we're going to grow it, we're going to grow it my way because I see there's a lot of benefit to both me and you for you guys to be a part of this community and grow with this community my way, which is through Righteous. Number one, Righteous is going to work a lot like Facebook. We are going to censor as little as possible, meaning if you're doing things that are actually racist. And most of the racist stuff comes from the left side, even though they want you to believe that it's the right side being racist. But the perpetuation of racism is coming from the left right now. So, if there's something that's just like it's not making sense, there's no logic to the conversation. All you want to do is scream and everything else. I mean, there's going to have to come a point to where we say, as a community, enough is enough. But we're going to try to do it the right way. I am a firm believer in most things conservative. However, in case you didn't know this about me, I don't, and I didn't know this about myself, to be perfectly honest with you, is I don't like the label of being left or right. Don't like it. I've been in this game long enough. I've been doing this since the COVID pandemic, as far as actively getting involved in what's going on in politics and trying to make better decisions that help to govern my family, this country, and so forth. And I I grew up believing that because I was black. Yes, I know, I don't look it. But because I grew up black in the black communities, that I was supposed to vote Democrat. No matter what else happened, I was supposed to vote Democrat. But the problem that people have with me is that God actually gave me a brain. And gave me a brain to be able to think for myself, to make my own decisions, and to be able to say that something isn't right, to be able to admit that something isn't right with a particular thing. And the more and it caused me to investigate, because if my instincts were telling me that something was wrong, then I wanted to get out there and find out why it was wrong. And the more I did, the more information gathering I participated in, the more I realized that I was fighting a losing battle. I was on the wrong side for me. I was on the wrong side for me. And so at that time, I decided I needed to look into the other side, and I did. I investigated the other side, the Republican Party, before I decided that I was going to start voting Republican, and I did. And I started voting Republican. I was even willing at the time to call myself Republican because in the I believed in the ideals. I believed in the foundation of what Republicans stood for. However, in that game that we are playing, in this game of life that we are playing, it didn't take long to understand that the foundations for something is not enough for you to say that you are, if you're doing the right thing, if you have your own opinions about a particular thing, believing in the foundations of something doesn't necessarily mean that you are a part of that tribe or that cult that they've created in the process or whatever the case may be. And I've just come to the conclusion, like a lot of other people who are waking up in this world today, that there's a cult on both sides. There's a cult on the left side, there's a cult on the right side, and I will even go as far as to say that MAGA is a cult. I believe that MAGA is a cult, but I also believe that woke agendas are a cult. I believe that Black Lives Matter is a cult. I believe all of those things, anything that is forcing you to see their side and only their side of a particular thing, is a cult. But the other when it comes to MAGA, the other sad part of all of that is that yes, Donald Trump created the MAGA movement. However, the way that a lot of these people on the left are choosing to see Donald Trump, you don't have any evidence to support any of it. You have a lot of he said, she said that has been fed to you from the same people who have been doing you dirty for decades. The MAGA cult that I have been calling out isn't coming from Donald Trump and possibly most of his administration. The MAGA cult that I've been calling out lately are from the people, the sheep who want to get out there and basically mimic and copy everything that they hear, assuming that they know exactly what needs to be said and done, and that if you're against anything that Donald Trump says, then you are a traitor to the cause. Those are the cult members that I'm talking about. And I don't, and at the end of the day, I don't think the government has a problem with the division that they are creating instead of bringing us together and uniting. And I have to admit that one of the things that started making me look at the entire government, whether it was left or right, in a different light, was everything going on with the Epstein files. I am a huge advocate for kids because kids cannot defend themselves. And when you tell me that nobody is really looking at the Epstein files, that nobody really cares, you want us to believe that nobody really cares. You say Epstein because you're trying to manipulate the direction that people's opinions go in. Nobody gives a shit about Epstein. Everybody cares about not only the victims as a result of the Epstein files, but the pedophiles, the rich elite pedophiles who are getting away with it because you choose to protect them. It's never it's Epstein. Some people say he's still alive. Some people say he's dead. I don't. Nobody gives a shit about Epstein himself. We care about the people who are getting away with this nonsense. And I've heard different politicians have said that if the all of the Epstein files, because they say they've released most of them, but my understanding is that there's still like over 13 million um something like 13 million, oh no, not 13 million, excuse me, 3 million files that still have not been released. And some of these politicians are arguing that if those files were released, that a lot of people would get hurt in the process. And I've said this before, but I'm going to say it a little bit more directly now. I don't give a shit if the people running our government, if the people that are running Hollywood, if the people who are running these foreign governments are responsible for what happened in the Epstein files and beyond, because I believe there's a connection between the Diddy files and the Epstein files. But if those people were engaged in illegal activities and they were abusing minors and eating children as a result, then guess what? A lot of people need to be hurt. This government needs to be flipped upside down, and we need to start over from scratch because we have failed. We have failed as a country. We have failed as human beings, basic human beings. If we think it is okay to allow people who eat children and abuse children to remain in the powers in the positions of power that they are in, it's ridiculous. And I'm not going to sit up here and let anybody, not on X, not on Instagram, not on Facebook, none on YouTube, none of these places try to convince me that I need to care less about what's going on in the Epstein files. I think that is what we need to care about most. The thing that they are protecting the most is the thing that we need to care about the most. And that's the and that's the direction that I'm going in. At the end of the day, I don't know Trump enough to care about who Trump is as a person. What kills me, however, is how do you have any president in office and because they don't support your political agenda, your wokeness, or you can name whatever you want on the right. Because again, ideally, I agree with a lot of things that they say, but when they come out with these specifics and they start censoring people and doing the exact same thing that they accuse the left of doing, then I start to have a problem with that. And and the MAGA movement, the MAGA cult, is basically what helped me to understand that I'm not a Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm American. I am going to continue to vote in the direction that I feel is going to best represent this country. And unfortunately, whether you like Donald Trump or think he's the biggest evil known to man, he's the second coming of the devil himself. What's really sad is that if he were all of those things, his side is still making way better decisions than what we have been seeing on the left, giving out handouts and stuff to people just to get their votes and putting them in the position to where they are now shackled to every single idea that you've ever had as a result, to get them to be a follower, to get them to be slaves to your regime. I'm sorry, I will never vote in that direction, and I don't care what you say. No, that is not what we're getting from the Trump administration right now. Call it what you will. I don't necessarily agree with with the methods being used by by ICE and other deportation facilities or enforcement or law enforcement. But at the same time, I can also admit that I don't know enough because all we get is what's being fed to us from the left wing media. So I'd like more information before I make that decision, because if you just remove the emotions from the equation, protecting our borders is something that we voted for. And trying to nitpick every little bad thing that ever happens. Well, guess what? When you have to enforce anything, including positive changes in this world, sometimes there's going to be a negative impact that occurs as a result. That's just the nature of the life that we lead. So, moving forward, I have no intention of, when we speak about anything, when we joke around, we just joke around, we just talk shit. But when we're speaking on politics, you best believe it's not the politics I care about, it's the impact that we have on the American people. And yes, I am very much, if I'm anything, I am America first. Period. I'm not That doesn't mean that I don't care about what's going on with the rest of the world right now, and I have my opinions on things. I'm going to give you my opinions. If you don't like it, oh fucking well. This Iran war right now, I can't believe. Now, should we have gone to war? And the fact that we're not talking about this for what it is right now, this whole Iran war, we're at war. And the fact that nobody seems to give a shit, that bothers me. Like, what is the state of the country that we're in right now when we don't give a shit about the fact that we are actually at war? And I don't think people fully understands the implications in this particular war itself. It just feels like we're this close to either Russia or China deciding it's their time to get involved, that the US and NATO and them have done just way too much, and it's time for the superpowers to get involved and enact World War III. We're that close. But nobody in this country seems to give a shit, and that bothers me. Um, but what bothers me even more is that I'm hearing through X and other social channels from the people. Not, I don't. Like I said, I've learned to stop caring about what the media thinks. I've learned to stop listening to politicians tell me the way that things need to be. I'm trying to gather as much information I can in my limited time space to make my own decisions about what's going on, because most of the time there is some kind of deflection going on. And you may not want to hear this, but I'm going to give it to you real right now. this strike on Iran, and I'll get back to this whole thing with Iran and what's bothering me with this, but the strike itself, I think, is a deflection. Think about it. They released the Epstein files. All of these names are coming out on the Epstein files, and boom, all of a sudden they strike Iran or Iran or whatever they want to call it. It's deflection. If we do something major in this direction, and what kind of world are we living in when our world leaders, when our own leaders and celebrities or whoever would rather go to war than to allow us to discuss the abuse of children and everything else? What is going on, man? I don't need any more software updates. Anyways, what's bothering me about what I'm hearing with this Iran war right now is that people are actually upset that Donald Trump was able to kill this dictator in Iran. And is it a war we should be fighting right now? I honestly I don't know. But when I hear who the person was that died, and the fact that his country is cheering, literally thanking Trump, calling him uncle and everything else for removing him from the position that he is in before you start looking for just another reason to hate Trump because that's all you can manage to do at this point. Maybe look into what's actually happening. Again, I don't I'm not going to pretend to know enough to know whether this is a war we should be fighting. My instincts tell us that no. I think that we're fighting a war on behalf of Israel, and I'm not a big fan of fighting wars on behalf of other countries. If anything, we should be fighting wars on behalf of ourselves. But when you look at the fact, when you look at who was killed in the process, and the fact that this country now has a chance to do something that they've been dying to do for Lord knows how long, but they're able to free themselves and to start over, and they're literally thanking Trump, and we're over here condemning him for the actions and stuff that he's taken. I don't. It's really hard for me to understand why people would take the stance of protecting um, Iran in this particular case. But anyways, man, I don't want to get into all that, man. I want to talk about things I want to talk about, man. I think whoever's here for now, I hope one particular person is going to be here. They might not like what I have to say right now, but it's again, it's just us moving in the direction where we care more about each other. We care about more what's on healing each other and bring and growing with one another. Those are the things that I care about more. And sometimes it's going to offend people. Sometimes it's going to be some things that I'm dealing with personally, but at the end of the day, I'm not willing to talk about others if I'm not willing to talk about myself in the same light. And when I do talk about others, I try not to use names, but the situation themselves kind of there's lessons in everything that we do. And I was very interested recently in getting to know a particular person, and I thought things were going really good. And we have a I wouldn't necessarily say a history together, but we do have a shared history. We know a lot of the same people. We grew up around a lot of the same people. And what's up, Andrew? We grew up around a lot of the same people, and and I really felt like there was a bond there. And the story that I'm about to share, I will say in advance that this is not a knock on that person. This person is a beautiful person. Very, I have nothing against this individual at all, and it's not even a crack at them personally. It's just more about me and what I want out of life. And this was just a reminder of where I'm going and not where I've been. And but getting to know this particular individual, um, we got to a point to where anybody that knows me knows I flirt. If you've seen my gaming channels, if I'm a single individual, I say some pretty raunchy stuff. Sometimes it's just, hey, if you don't like the conversation, you're always welcome to change the channel. But at least with me, whether it's in my personal life or whether I'm online with you guys know I'm pretty legit with the things that I say. I'm pretty down to earth, and even if I'm joking and stuff like that, the intention is never to um, hurt anyone in particular. But anyways, getting to know this person, we got on the page to where I felt comfortable flirting and even uh, joking around about a few sexual things. And this person doesn't even live in my city, but so I thought, you know, we're adults. I'm 50 something years old. I've got, I believe I I'm a firm believer in you got to use it before you lose it type of deal. And I've had moments where I'm like, is it coming to an end at this point? So if I've got any kind of feelings down in that area, dude, I'm a human being. I'm a man. And I think anybody's lying if they say they don't meet someone and at some point the minute that there's some kind of attraction there that they aren't thinking about them sexually in to some extent. And with guys, it's even worse. A lot of times we see people that we probably will never have a relationship with, and we still have a tendency to think about the possibilities in our head. And I'm keeping it G-rated because I'm not trying to have a relationship with any of you guys right now. And not right now anyway. But anyways, getting to know this person, I kind of felt like there was enough of a mutual attraction and enough of a bond there where I could say some things that um were sexual in nature. I'm being as straightforward and honest. It's again, this is not a knock on that person. This is more about me and what I want out of life for me. And there were a few times where that person would start to engage and then they would pull back and they would tell me, "Oh my God, you got me um going against, my own belief or faith or whatever the case may be. But there were times where the participation and the engagement was there, and then just all of a sudden, I had a bad day, and I shared my bad day, and I was basically, "What's up, Will?" And I basically came out and just said, it make me feel better if we were laying in bed naked. And all of a sudden, they came back with, "Oh, seriously though, you need to stop that." And it caught me off guard. And I'm at work and I was on a break when I was talking about these things. And I literally just vented. I was very attracted to this person. I was hoping that maybe the possibility was there that we could build something together. And after sharing a bad day with this person, I was basically saying, time with them would be basically a healing factor in everything that I was dealing with. And they just said, seriously, you need to stop. I don't remember. That's not verbatim. I do remember the word seriously. I do remember something to the extent that you need to stop. And I don't remember anything after that because I was so upset. I was upset because I'm consistent in who I am. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with consistency. If you're going to engage, if you don't want to engage in certain conversations with me, then you need to tell me from the very start and I will respect that. But if you engage with me at all, you're giving me permission to be who I am and you want to know more. And then all of a sudden, you're just going to throw in there a controlling factor in my life. You're going to push your boundaries on me. And then all of a sudden, and again, this is not a no means no type of situation. We were nowhere in person. This was just us getting to know each other. And so and we'll get back to why I said, like I said, it's not a knock on the person they are. This person is a beautiful human being. I have nothing against them. And I pull off in my truck. I'm like, I gotta go. I even said it. They're still trying to talk. This person's still trying to talk to me, have a conversation. And I don't feel like talking at this point, and I gotta pull up. I'm sorry, I gotta go to work. And I clocked in just to go back to work and not be able to talk to this person. And I only got about a block. I got about a block, and I was like, dude, why the fuck am I mad? Because the only real thing that just happened is that this person just basically showed me and told me that they are not the person for me and vice versa. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. So I pulled back over, I clocked back out, and I said as much to the person, "Hey, look, I apologize. I was upset. What is going on with this thing?" I thought it was the person trying to reach out, but, "Hey, you need to stop fucking talking about me." Anyways, I pulled over and I reached out to the person. I just said, "Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I was upset and I was upset for no reason. It's not your fault. I'm done apologizing for the person that I am. If you don't fucking like who I am, then we can just be friends or we don't ever have to talk at all. And now this isn't a smash at this particular individual. It just made me realize this about myself. I fucking like who I am. If you know 100% where I've come from and what I've been able to achieve as both a man and as a father, you would know why I do not want to compromise who I am to try to make relationships work for other people anymore. And if that means I have to be single for the rest of my life because I can't find a woman that's not so self-entitled that she's going to make it all about her instead of making it about us, which is what a relationship should be, then I guess I'll just be single until the day I die, but I'm going to be single and I'm going to be happy because I have enough of the right people in my life to where I don't have to sacrifice who I am to try to make others happy. I've tried to do it twice in some serious relationships and it never worked. And even little things and to my point, and guys, I'm talking to you. I don't get why. How did we get on a page to where having a healthy sexual appetite for women became taboo, became something bad. Now, I'm not talking about harassment and abuse. I'm simply talking about and I'll give you an example. Having a healthy sexual appetite. You talk to a girl, she's getting to know you. What is the first thing that she wants to know before she starts to qualify you or to see if you're acceptable to have a relationship with her or not? She wants to know about your finances. She wants to know how many kids you have, what are their ages, because in reality, she wants to know how your kids and your life is going to have a positive or negative impact on her. These are qualifying questions. It's a fucking application that she wants you to fill out in order for her to decide whether you are acceptable, whether you feel, whether you fulfill her self entitled motives. But when we talk about the things that we're looking for, because we're very simple, you keep me satisfied, you keep me full, and I'm speaking for me, I can't speak for all men. You keep me full, you keep me sexually satisfied, and you can have everything I've got. Period. So why shouldn't I be able to know, especially at my age? We're not youngsters. We're not fresh out of high school. We're not newbies to the sex game. So why shouldn't at this point in my life, why shouldn't I know whether or not you actually enjoy having sex, whether you're past the menopause stage or whatever that means for you, and whether you actually enjoy it as much as I do? Why should I not be able to get answers to those questions before we decide to have a serious relationship? You get what you want. Why can't I get what I want? Why can't I get answers to the questions that I want to know about? My shoe. Right. No, no. So, and again, it wasn't this the what I'm saying to you guys right now has nothing to do with that individual. That individual is a very is a beautiful soul. But when this person checked me, it made me realize, no, not again. I'm not gonna do it. And so we basically ended that road that we were on right then and there. It was good for that person. It was good for me as well. Guys, you got to stop. There's nothing wrong with having a healthy sexual appetite for women, and nothing at all. And if a girl's gonna come right out and ask you what you do for a living, like if it's not okay, if I have to wait to get into a relationship with you to find out whether the sex is good or not, then you should be willing to wait until we get together and have a serious relationship to find out whether I'm broke. Or whether find out whether I've got some badass kids and I'm looking for a second mommy in order to help me to take care of them. I mean, if we're going to be waiting for shit, otherwise, don't question me about who, you know. And like I said, if you don't like what I'm bringing to the table, talking about sex make people a villain. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why. Because the thing is even if you're in a serious, I'm not. You notice I've never talked about cheating on an individual. There are bad things that come with everything. Cheating on someone you're in a relationship is wrong. And that includes having flirting and having sexual conversations outside of your marriage if you are married. Even if there was never an intention to do something with that person, you shouldn't be having those thoughts about anybody else but the person that you're with. And if you do, then why the fuck are you married? I'm going to defend both sides on that. But if you're single or if you're heading into a relationship, why should you get answers to those kind of questions if you guys are in that situation and you're digging each other? I want to see. I'm not going to tell you who this person is. I will never do that. But okay. I just wanted to make sure they were, hey man, you need to stop fucking talking about me. Um, Because I promise you, I'm not talking about this individual. I just want to get back to talking about shit that's real. And I'm gonna throw this out there because we're talking about relationships and sex and all this other kind of stuff. But hey, women, I'm on these dating sites. Can you stop using all these damn filters, please? I said this shit about 3 years ago, and it's getting worse. Like I don't get it. Why the fuck do you think I want to fuck a furry? Like, why do you think, I'm not gonna notice that you put on these ultra smooth, these ultra skin smoothing filters on your face inside of your profiles? Like, I can't see it in the profile, and then I'm not gonna see the fact that your face actually looks like beef jerky in person. How do you think I'm not gonna fucking notice that shit? I'm not the prettiest dude in the world. You're either attracted to me or you're not. I'm not gonna fake the funk just to kick it with you on these online dating sites or even in person. That's the reason why I don't like all the warrior paint and the birthday cake that women wear because I don't know what you're gonna look like when we actually lay down. I've seen I've seen the comedy shows where these girls take off their legs and take off their wig and their eyelashes come off once you get in bed with them. And it's a comedy show, but it's based on reality. It really is. Uh, Hey, no, I'm not. We ain't fucking no. We ain't fucking with no furries, man. Anyways, those are. I'm really looking forward to getting back on here with you guys. Moving forward, just I wanted to do my live streams on the truck. I can't because I can't guarantee what times I'll be off the truck. I can't. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to set everything up. Sometimes I'm out there on the road. I'm just a little too tired to get those things done. So we're gonna flip the script on you guys. We're actually gonna do our live streams from home because this is where I got all of the thank you, Andrew. Man, Andrew, I mean, I'm telling you, man, if I was gay, like I'm just putting it out there, if I was gay, I would be rich because I'm putting the booty on the market. I'm just saying, I would be rich, and honestly, I'd probably be happy, man, because dudes keep it more real than I believe women ever could. And I think that's the biggest problem that women have with themselves. They're not even honest with themselves. They're too afraid of what other people think about them and their insecurities. And these insecurities that they have keep them from being happy. And then they want to project all of that unhappiness onto other people and just expect you to accept it. And that's ridiculous. And so, guys, I'm telling you, man, stop accepting the bullshit. These feminists, I think feminists have fucking ruined the dating scene as a whole. They got women believing that it's not okay to be women anymore. That it's not, and I'm gonna let me finish my before you call me toxic, a toxic male. Let me finish this statement. They got women believing that it's not okay to want to be a stay-at-home mom, to want to take care of the home, to feed their husbands dinner, to have dinner ready for their husbands when they get home, to allow their husbands to be the provider and the protector. They got them believing that you're more of a man than men are these days. And to be honest, we're getting to that point to where they're almost right. The simple truth is whatever works for your relationship then that works for your relationship. People need to stop getting into your business. If you're a woman and you wear the pants in that family and the man wants to be the stay at home dad and cook dinner for the kids and everything else, and it works for that relationship, who cares what other people think? If the man is going out there busting his ass and he's the provider and the protector, and the woman's gonna, the women, you got to stop thinking that, oh, just just because he provide, my job is to take his money, to spend his money. And the only thing I got to do as a result is give up the ass. Gas stinks. There's a lot of ass out there that ain't smelling ripe anymore. It ain't, no, it's not, no, that is not a form of currency any longer. We don't want it. Take it back. It's not on the stock market. We can't exchange it. It's not a hedge fund. We don't want the ass anymore. We want something real. We want you to put in as much work into this relationship as you want us to put into this relationship. That's how relationships work. And that's the reason why I keep saying that this whole feminist, because you don't see men doing it. Men are men, men fuck up. I will say this about men, though. If you want that type of woman in your life, then you have to be willing to be that type of man. Don't come out here and be a bitch and then expect a woman to not only take care of the house, take care of the kids, but you want her to also take care of you. Use a bitch, straight bitch. So, like I said, there's some truth, some negative truth on both sides of that scenario. But again, I'm done. When I meet people in person, I realize that those are probably some of the best friends that I've ever had, because they know who I am for real, and I'm the same person online as I am in person. In when you meet me in real life, I'm the same person. Nothing changes except for the fact that when I'm online, I'm trying to hold back and I'm trying to make your opinion. I'm trying to actually make your opinions matter by holding my tongue and not saying certain things. And but I've also noticed that I get a lot more criticism when I don't say what's actually on my mind. And I've just kind of decided that from here on out, if I really want to help people, if I really want to help people move forward, if I really want to be make a positive impact on this community and whoever I'm able to help from here and into the future, then I got to do it my way. I got to do it. I have to do it being exactly who I am. If that tells you that you got to man the fuck up like I've had to man the fuck up, you need to get help like I've needed to get help. Whatever that opinion is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. And I hope that you don't, I really hope that you don't want me to sugarcoat it for you. Because I don't feel like I'm being a good enough friend to anybody if you're going to ask me a serious question and I'm going to give you a fake ass answer. So if you got the nerve to ask me, hey, do I look fat in this dress? Well, yeah, it looked like you've grown a couple sizes since the last time I saw you. You asked me. If you don't want a genuine answer, don't ask the question. I'm just saying. I really wish that I had the time to play video games. Maybe once I get a better handle on this, and I've started to study the stock market and everything else, maybe we'll get to a point to where I can start playing video games again. But one of the things that I do understand about life right now is that you're either going to be wasting your time or you're going to be productive with it. And until I'm fully productive to where I'm making more than enough money to give a shit, I can't really afford to waste my time. I do believe that there's something positive going on with me sitting here talking to you, because I get to share these stories. We're going to be adding features on here like open mic, where people can, they can say whatever they want to say, and we're going to give an opinion on it. You can talk shit about me. I'm going to let you get it off your chest, and then I'll ban you after you get it off your chest, whatever the case may be. And then we're going to start moving people over onto the righteous community. I really plan on doing a lot, and the beautiful thing about the righteous community is that it's set up so that you can also have a positive impact. So it's like a pay it forward community in a way, where yeah, we get to be who we are. We don't believe in censorship. We believe in freedom of just about everything. But at the same time, if you've got whatever excess you have, then if you can help someone else with that excess, whether it's information, whether it's financial resources, whether it's helping them get a job, whether it's just teaching them something new to help them do something better for themselves and their families, that's the kind of community that I want to build. I don't want to do it all by myself. As far as I'm concerned, the Mike Rock Show is what belongs to me. The righteous community is what belongs to all of us. What do we got? What if they have to ask, they already know the answer, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. Not some people don't though. I'm telling you, I consider myself conservative. I don't consider myself a Republican. I'm definitely not MAGA. Even though I believe 80% of the stupid shit that people say about Trump is fake, I don't believe I'm not voting for one man. I'm not voting for one individual. For me, I'm voting in this particular case. I mean, you can call it what you will. You can call it voting for the lesser of two evils. I just believe that there was so much foul shit going on the left that there was no way. They want us to ignore all that and still vote for them simply because they've created this false hatred for a man that we don't even know. That man has done nothing in my personal life. Um, and to be perfectly honest, people can look into his situation all they want to. The problems that we're facing right now, if you know anything about the economy, you know it did not start with him, period. So again, if anything, we should be pulling together more as a people and stop hating on this government so much. Period. I'm not like I said. I don't want to. We're gonna be talking about individual topics, but in the future. But the one thing I want people to start understanding more of is that we need to stop siding with the government. They're the ones that are keeping us divided. They're the ones that are making shit like woke agendas and racist matters and stuff. They're the ones that are making that shit matter to us, so that we're not paying attention to what's really going on with them. Because again, I don't care who you have sex with, bro. I really don't. The only thing that matters to me with the trans community is stop this gender affirming care bullcrap that you're pushing on kids. That you're able to take. Look, I'm gonna put this out there, man. In case you guys think this shit is fake, bro, there is a federal law out there. So you can call this bullshit all you want to, but all you got to do is go check it. Stop accusing people of lying and go look the shit up for yourself. There is a federal law out there that will allow the government. I don't know if it's state and federal, but will allow the government to to give your kids gender affirming care without their parents' knowledge. It is a law. And they tried to say for the longest that no, it wasn't. But when you read the actual law, it says that the parents must be, and this is not verbatim, but the parents must be informed about all matters, blah, 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 except in the case of something like abuse and gender affirming care for the child. So if it's again, that's not verbatim. I just know that it is an actual law. I don't know if it has actually passed or not, but I know it's a law that the Democrat Party is trying to push on the rest of us. So while I do not care and fully support your mental illnesses, or whatever else that you're going through, I support you as a human being. I do not support you pushing your lifestyle, your issues on our kids, and I don't care who you are. When it comes to what we teach our kids in school, it should be to me, a STEM-based education. I'm not going to pretend to know it all, but kids should be learning kid shit and learning about and getting educated. The education programs have gone to shit in this country, and we need to get back to letting the math add up and letting them actually learn proper English and all of this. Learn about maybe we need to upgrade our history textbooks, but they need to be learning about shit like that, not about the politics that we can't even agree on as adults. That's stupid. Keep it out of the schools, period. That's what I'm advocating for. As far as everything else, who you want to swing dicks with, who you want to have sex with, what you want to look like in life, well, whose skin tone you're gonna start taking issues up. I don't give a shit about none of that, man. And the truth is, none of you guys actually give a shit about that shit either. You care about what's going on in your personal life. You care about whether you can pay your bills or not. You care about whether the eggs are $5 a dozen or gas prices are $6, $7 a gallon. Those are the things that matter to us. Those are the things that we need to be paying attention to. Everything else the government and the media tries to sell us, it's bullshit. It's a distraction. It's a deflection to keep us from actually uniting with the bigger difference, with the bigger problems in life, and not these smaller differences that keep us divided. Man, and the fact that all of that information is coming from a dumbass like me, dude, the solutions out there are simple, man. They really are. I just don't understand why we can't wake the fuck up and decide that your whatever little shit you're going through doesn't mean shit compared to what we could be doing together if we just make it happen. Now, with that said, man, I promised you guys that once I was out of training and I'm in the process of paying back the debts that I owe. And we are in that process that we wanted to try to do some things to bring people over to the righteous community. I believe that we're going to have something very strong going on there. I need the rest of this month to um, to put that plan in motion because I'm going to switch servers. I'm going to put the righteous community and the righteous shop on a much stronger server because the next step would be to have the app installed so that you guys can get the righteous community and our messaging service. You guys can get those um, installed through the Google and Apple store. But and again, in case you don't know, if there's anything that you want to share, the way that this community works, it works a lot like Facebook, but also if you've got is sellable, a service, something that's gonna that other people want, and you want people to be able allowed to tip you or subscribe to your personal page and everything else. This community is gonna allow you to do all that. Back in the olden days, we had this thing called bartering. I don't know if you guys remember what that means. Basically, it's the trading of goods and that happens when we have a community that actually gives a shit. And so maybe somebody's got some web development services, and in exchange for web development services, maybe you have a podcast and you can give them a shout out because you're popular enough to where it matters, and you can bring business their way as a result. Then you guys can get together and talk about exchanging goods and services and stuff that way. But anyways, I think I have rambled on enough. The moral to this particular story, number one, we're back. We're going to be changing from Mike Rock Uncensored back to the Mikerock Show very, very soon. Um, Guys, do not compromise who you are. You are beautiful just the way you are. If you're looking to get into a relationship, make sure that relationship accepts you 100% for who you are because you know you're going to do the same for them. And if there's any part of it, that I do believe in compromise. I do believe in sacrifice, but sometimes there's some compromises and some sacrifices that are just way too big, and you shouldn't have to make those compromises or sacrifices if it's going to also sacrifice your happiness in that relationship. So don't do it, man. And with that, we're gonna get ready to get out of here, man. I don't know. I'm. This is we're in March officially. And I can promise you guys, by the end of this year, we're going to double, triple our engagement on YouTube, here on Facebook, even on Instagram and a lot of other places. And it isn't because we're going to be siding with Trump or we're going to be siding with whoever's on the left side, Gavin Newsom, that idiot. Um, it doesn't matter where they are. The reason why we're going to grow is because we're about to show you guys that the people matter more than anything else. So, anyways, I'm Mike Rock, man. I got to get out of here. I'm getting back on the road tomorrow. I will be putting together regular videos. You can comment on them, but they won't be live. We're going to be doing our live streams. I'm going to try to do them every Sunday because that's literally the only time right now that I can guarantee that I will be home. So we'll be doing our live streams with you guys mainly on Sundays, possibly on Mondays until I get a better handle on that. I was fortunate enough, I switched over from Metro by T-Mobile on a big boy account. So I got T-Mobile because I needed that spot. I was gonna get Starlink, but it turns out I don't need Starlink. I just needed a hotspot on my phone because everywhere I go, every stop I go to between here and Kansas has strong enough cell phone signals to where I all I need is a hotspot in order to make everything else work. I love the people that have kept in touch while I've been gone. Thank you guys so much for being there. Um, yeah, let's get the party started, man. I'm ready to get back to work. I'm ready to be here for you guys. And be on the lookout because I have a feeling that I'm going to be needing help as we start to grow. As I put more time and resources into making this all happen, I'm gonna. It's not gonna be just about me. And the more I get actively involved, the more I want people to be on board with me. You guys have a beautiful and safe day. If there's anything I can do for you guys, whether it's ask a question, that's something else that you can do over at Righteous. If you guys want me to bring something else up on the show, if you guys want me to give a shout out, we're doing all that stuff for free right now. Before we start getting sponsors and before we start getting more organized, I want to get people as involved as humanly possible. So if you got something good, something positive for the people that you want me to shout out, hit me up over at righteous.com, RIGHTEUS, not OUS. EUS, and we'll see what we can do, man. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys again soon. And yeah, that's it, man. I ain't got nothing else to say to you guys, man. Peace. Wait, is it end? Yeah, there we go.